Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Let's Clarify. Of course, I'm Mellissa Thomas, one of the wonderful co-hosts, and of course, I got the awesome Angel Perry, who is the Executive Vice President of the Communications Workers of America Local 3108 Union. Always a pleasure, Angel. How's it going?
It is going great. How are you, Melissa?
Going great. I'm coming to everybody from Tampa Bay. We are here. Florida National News is on site covering Super Bowl week. It is such a privilege to be here. Super excited. So pardon the lighting, y'all. Like that's why I look a little bit different. But yeah, let's get right into this, Angel, because I mean, when you brought this to my attention, I was like, wow. I mean, we obviously, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been hearing us have the conversation about, the DC riots and kind of the ramifications that come from that. And then at the beginning of this week, there was a report from CNN, various other outlets of folks who went to the DC riot, participated in the riots, who actually did not vote in the election. So today we're clarifying the story about the voters that didn't vote. And quite frankly, we spilling all the tea, y'all. Like Angel's the bomb. She got all the names. So so we will start with that. Angel, just kind of run it down for us.
So the FBI has a number of people that committed crimes during the riots, about 400 and counting.
Wow.
135 people have been arrested already and counting. From my last check with the FBI. What happens is when you get arrested, your name becomes public record. And then different outlets in all 50 states can check your voter registration. And so we have Donovan Crow. He was one of the members of the Ohio militant group charged in the Capitol riot, registered to vote in 2013, but never actually voted. Sir, what were you upset about? I'm trying to understand. And his mom decided to spill all his business and stated, oh, well, he got alerts to go vote. He just never went down there. What are you mad at, sir? It's your fault. Trump didn't win. You didn't even vote. You're registered, but you didn't even vote.
Very interesting.
Jesse Griffith is facing federal charges in relation to the Capitol riots, voted in 2016 and 2018 elections, didn't vote in the 2020 presidential election. But he down there at the Capitol talking about whatever. The elections was not right. Sir, you did not vote. Your fault that Trump did not win. What are you talking about? What are you mad about? I'm trying to figure this out. Did not vote. Then we have Grayson Courtwright from Kentucky, not even registered to vote. What's that about?
Wow.
We have Edward Jacob Lang from New York. Attempted to attack police. Did not vote. We have Vaughn A. Gordon, 55 years old, from Louisiana, not even registered to vote. Was arrested after bragging that he walked around the Capitol for 2 hours. Sir, you're 55 years old. You mad about the elections, but didn't even vote. Then we have Michael Corzio.
This was a conundrum.
From Summerfield. He served an 8-year attempted murder sentence. So here in the lovely state of Florida, if you're a violent felon, you can't vote anyways.
Right.
What are you mad about, sir? What are you mad about? You can't even vote. You don't even have the option. And then we have Emily Hernandez, 21, from Missouri, not even registered to vote. We have 65-year-old Georgia man, Grant Moore. He decided to storm the Capitol with guns and ammunition. That's already illegal. That's already illegal in DC. You're not allowed to carry weapons. And then you go into the Capitol where you have members of Congress and the vice president.
Right.
Why do you need a gun and ammunition? I thought this was a protest. Protest is peaceful. You don't need gun and ammunition at a peaceful protest. Oh, that's not the intent, was it? This was the coup.
Attempted one.
So I think we had also a cop from Houston who decided to leave vacation to DC, beat up
Wow.
some cops at the Capitol, then went back home and quit his job. So
Mm.
I'm trying to understand, Trump is part of the Republican Party, and you're upset that Trump did not win, but how are you a cop beating up cops?
And didn't you say he was wearing his badge at the time?
He was one of the ones that had his badge on them to trick the people into letting people in. That
Oh.
was some of the confusion.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to blame the Capitol Police for letting people in that weren't authorized, but this is one of those things where there were police officers that were part of the riots. They would show their badge as if they had authority and gain access to the Capitol building.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, to one of the questions that jumped out in my mind when I learned about the gentleman from Marion County who's a felon, I thought, well, I mean, life is difficult as it is for a felon, not only in terms of voter, like not being able to vote, but even in terms of finding work. You know what I mean? Like, is when you have a record like that, it's, it's kind of hard out here for insert adjective here. You know what I mean? Like it's difficult.
So there's
You
like
know?
a complete gap in time. Like 8 years is a lot of time where technology advances,
Right.
things look different as society is progressing, buildings change, buildings get knocked down. So you were released from prison after serving 8 years for attempted murder, and
Hmm.
and your production in society is, so let's go to the Capitol and storm it.
Like, why was that the first idea? I had that question too.
Oh, the police officer name was Tam Pham. That's what I was trying to find. His name is Tam Pham from Houston, Texas.
Hmm.
Yeah, he had to quit his job after the police chief told reporters he had been part of the crowd that penetrated Congress. So he
Wow.
didn't just storm into the building. He was part of the ones that were going into the chambers looking for members of Congress to do what with, sir? What was that intent? Was that supposed to be a sit down conversation? Please
Oh
step down
no.
from your office.
Oh no.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
we
think
knew.
we had ill intent officer no longer because he quit his job.
Well, after you do something like that, you have to toss deuces. Like
I
there was
mean,
no other recourse.
he's supposed to be back in the blue. What happened to that? What
That
happened to conservative values? Do you not go to church? Like, who are you representing? Are you even Republican? Like, what? I'm lost here.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, and I mean, even the spiritual choices aside, but I'm like, okay, even if you have your misgivings about the police force while wearing a uniform, you probably don't want to act that out by striking another, another member of the police force, wherever you are, Texas, DC, whatever. Like uniforms don't, it's not a good
I
idea to be
never
attacking
heard.
uniforms. Like,
I really never heard of. And then he's not the only one. We got Jacob Fracker and Thomas Robertson, off-duty police officers from Rocky Mountain, Virginia.
mhm,
They did violent entry, so they were beating on officers to get into the Capitol. This
right,
is all on film. This is not even like a question. This is all on film. You
exactly.
guys, who are police officers, left and went on vacation and left your respective states to go to DC to then violently enter the Capitol.
Right.
You struck other police officers that were at work. They clocked in for work to do their job to protect the Capitol building and members of Congress. You beat on them to get into the building.
Right. Right.
I'm trying to figure out, how is that law and order?
It's not. It's not. Not at all. So on that note, y'all, we are going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go away. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about these Florida folks, the ones that were at the riots and ended up getting in trouble here. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
And we are back, guys, but let's clarify. So, yeah, Angel, I mean, let's get into it with our fellow Floridians as it relates to this riot. I mean, first of all, I wasn't shocked, but at the same time, kind of was shocked. You know how you hear something and it's just like, please don't let it be. Please don't let it be. And you hear it and you're just like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's get into that.
Has a reputation for us being so sprightly, lively, and unique.
That is the best way I've ever heard it put. Thank you.
We have the hashtag Florida man, and we have several people that did not disappoint. So
Totally.
Let's start off with, we have our vice mayor of Castleberry.
Wow, the Vice Mayor Castleberry.
Vice Mayor of Castleberry was there at the riots
on
film. Monday, they had an emergency commission meeting, the mayor and then other elected officials, because the residents of Castleberry said, "You need to go, sir." And he said, "No, I'm not going to go. I'll take myself off a committee. That'll appease you." That's what he said. His name is Mark Bush. And then his term ends for 2022, and now he wants to run for either state house or Senate. That guy, Mark Bush, don't forget it.
Talk about doubling down.
I am not going to step down because I like your money too much.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to run for another office.
Yeah, now I'm going to run for another office.
Okay.
So we have John Anderson of St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm.
We have Matthew Council of Riverview. We have Michael Corzio of Summerfield.
Right.
Felon that cannot vote. Oh, and we have Andy Williams, who is a Sanford firefighter. He also was there.
I heard that arrest.
He was put on paid administrative leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, let's see, Joseph Randall Biggs, 37, and also a member of Proud Boys.
Right.
He faced multiple charges, obstructing official proceeding and unlawful entry. So he was violent, meaning he was destroying things.
Right.
Samuel Carmago, I apologize for the Carmago family. I didn't say that, if I didn't say that right. He's 26, returned back here from the riots and turned himself into Washington, D.C. authorities 2 weeks later after returning to the Capitol for Biden's inauguration. So let's unpack that one.
Yes.
He was at the riots. Nobody knew he was there, and went back for the inauguration.
Yes.
To do what, sir? And then had the good angel on his shoulder say, "Hey, let's turn ourselves in." That's what he did.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean, there were so many people that have been arrested so far. Like Cleet Keller.
Hmm.
He's not from Florida, but he's a two-time Olympic gold medalist swimmer.
Heard about that.
Decided to wear his Olympic jacket while he's storming the Capitol and going into people's offices he wasn't invited to.
Exactly.
What are we doing, sir? What are we doing?
I'm like, did you want to give your medals back? Like, there were, like, you could have at least pawned them and got some money back for it. I mean, I just don't think that was the best idea. And this is a side topic here, but it was just interesting the the decision to storm the Capitol, and yes, obviously historical significance, like
For
what
sure.
in the world? But I'm like, if you're doing something like that, knowing full well that there are legal ramifications for a decision like that, why
Oh
do
no.
the
So
videos and selfies and all that? And I'm like, do y'all realize there's going to be recourse for this? Like, you're not going to get away with this.
no, so this is what the dirt is on that. Most of these people were somehow convinced either one, they weren't actually committing any crimes. That's one, or that the president would pardon them.
Mm.
That's what had them encouraged to do what they did. You know, trial by combat and all that. Cops beating on cops because it's trial by combat.
Right.
We
Right.
had Adam Johnson, 36 of Florida.
Mhm.
He was the one photographed holding up the House Speaker's lectern and smiling during the Capitol siege. He was charged with theft of government property,
Right.
but he returned the Speaker's lectern. So thank goodness for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so a lot of historical items were taken from the Capitol. Like people
Insane.
forget this is part of our country's history.
History.
And I've had people send me pictures of people cleaning. Okay, so even husbands that beat their wives will wipe their wife's face after it's been beaten in. Like that's not a thing. Sweeping up trash doesn't excuse what you did.
Right. Right. That was a bar, by the way. Wow. That was good. Yeah. So, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Angel and I are over here like looking at folks with the weird face, like, what you doing?
Why?
like,
Why
like
was
why?
place? I mean, you could have just went down the street and got some ice cream. There's pizza. I mean, movies are available streaming now instead of having to go to the theater. You could have bought a car.
Yeah, that kind of money
I mean, obviously they did. Some of them are police
with the
officers. They got
weapons.
nothing better to do but to go and beat on another police officer.
And as we know, one for sure passed away due to his injuries. Like, that was
And
insane.
the funeral service was this morning, if I wasn't mistaken. So he was cremated, and they
Okay.
gave him the funeral service that he had was a congressional one, which was unique. The police officers don't normally do that, but all of Congress was so grateful for his sacrifice that they gave him the same type of service that military officer and or a congressional member of Congress would have gotten. So that's what you saw today, this morning. The funeral was very somber and beautiful
Mhm.
service. It was very beautiful service. Um, yeah, I don't understand.
I don't either. But there is more to come, guys. We still have a little bit more conversation to have about this. So definitely
Absolutely.
definitely stay tuned. And don't worry, guys, we're not going to end the show on a super somber note. Like, we will end it in a way that you can like get up and be okay. you won't be
Okay.
you won't be moping. You won't be moping around. All right. Stay tuned though. We'll be right back after the short break.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin
The
clean.
kid does have a
That's
point.
My hand is clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the Let's Clarify show, myself and Angel. So, yeah, Angel, just in terms of wrapping up the show, like, man, like part of me is still in shock about everything. And then of course, I'm over here. This is just a quick side note, but I'm over here, of course, Super Bowl 55, Tampa Bay, and everybody was talking about Q Shaman, and I saw him, and the first thing I thought about was a Bucks game. Like, there's a fan here that is in every photo at every Bucks game because he looks the same way. Like, he had the horns, the face makeup, everything. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, so that's Jake and Jelly, who, while he was in jail, needed to make sure that he had organic food.
Yeah.
Yeah, organic food, not, prisoner food.
Not prison food. Not.
He starved himself until they decided to cave in and give him organic food.
Wow.
Okay.
But yeah, I heard that. I was like, bro, you doing too much. I'm just saying, you're in prison.
To each their own, I suppose.
But hey, congrats to him.
So some of the people that were arrested were actually elected officials.
That part, let's go to that. Go to that.
Derek Evans, less than a month after he was sworn in as a Republican delegate in West Virginia state legislature. So let's break this down. The people were storming the Capitol because they felt the election was a fraud. So unprecedented, this last election in 2020, there were actually more Republican local officials, state commissioner seats, sheriff offices that won their seats. The ballot is one ballot. The president is at the top, and that's your first choice. You had Trump and you had Biden and some other people. Then you had your governor for those states that had governors, state and House and Senate seats.
Right.
Then you have your local commission offices. Literally, Derek Evans was on the same ballot as Donald Trump. He's disputing the election that got him his seat.
Elected. That part. That part.
How does it work? It's one paper. It's one paper.
One ballot. One ballot, guys. One.
How is your seat valid, but the president wasn't? It's not separate papers. It's one paper.
Right. I don't get that. And he wasn't the only one. As I mentioned.
All across the country. All across the country.
Either newly elected or folks who had been elected already saying the same thing. And the media asked the same question, like, you were elected on the same ballot, or you were voted for on the same ballot. So are you saying that your vote was also invalidated or was robbed? And this one lady who was an elected official was like, oh, I'm just talking about the presidents. And I'm like, can't separate the two. Can't separate the two.
Same
paper. Same paper.
Not two papers, same paper.
Right. Now, unless we're talking, unless you want to count somebody incorrectly bubbling in the president, like maybe they did an X or something. I don't know. But I'm like, it's the same ballot.
It's the same ballot.
Yeah. I'm like, especially if you benefited from it. That's my thing. Like, if you were voted into office, I can understand if you lost the election or the runoff or whatever. But if you were elected and you were sworn in, what are you actually saying?
Yeah, you have governors, members of Congress that won their seat in the same election that they're saying was fraud. Right?
Exactly.
Let us step down. I mean, because that's what I'm thinking. If your testimony is this was fraud, this was not real, give up your seat. Give up. Do that. Oh no. Oh, okay. Just checking.
Just checking.
Just checking. None of
Yeah.
those people stepped down. None.
No, they were like, just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. So, I
But
mean, yeah, I'm saying like in, as we wrap this up, and especially in light of the police officer that we were talking about who lost his life,
sick Nick.
like we definitely want to give kudos to
Absolutely.
the ones who were on site that kind of quelled everything, got everything back under control. Because I'll be honest with you, because I was concerned. Like after, yes, it was a matter of 2 weeks, 14 days, but anything could have happened on the 20th.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? After what happened on the 6th, it was like the fact that what happened on the 6th was possible. Because I think like our nation was probably asleep with that because I don't think any of us imagined something like that would have happened.
The last time the Capitol was stormed was in the 1800s, and that was by the British.
Right.
Who would have thought homegrown members, citizens of the United States would storm the Capitol saying, well, this belongs to us. Okay, there's over 300 million American citizens. It
Right.
doesn't belong to you individually.
Right. Precisely.
So it was an understaffed, overexerted, already tired Capitol Police and the Secret Service that did an amazing job against all odds
Right.
by domestic threats. Like they upheld their oaths. Like every single one of those officers and members of the Secret Service were
Yes.
just brilliant, because as cumbersome as all of these ridiculous people were that came into the Capitol building, they were outnumbered by at least 100-1.
Yeah.
That I mean, the
Yeah, it was a swarm.
proud and the brave just
Yeah.
won the day. They won the day.
Absolutely. And they did their job.
They
Like,
did their job beautifully.
I mean, there was the one lady who, unfortunately, she lost her life, but she was warned. And I mean, like if you watch the video, everyone in the crowd was warning her, like he has a gun.
Climbing through a
window.
of a door that was barricaded.
They have to do
by
their job.
Service
They have to do their
to
job.
protect members of Congress.
Precisely.
And was warned before that officer had to discharge his weapon.
Right.
Then let's be clear. Then when she was shot in the neck, the same people that she came with would not get out of the way so they could take her out to get help. So let's just make sure that all the facts is out there. So once she was shot, they did not get out of the way so that paramedics could get into the building. They were busy storming the Capitol, so she died on the floor like a dog.
That's a description.
Well, it was by the same people that she was with. She didn't have to die. Even after being shot, she didn't have to die.
Right. That was preventable. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the silver lining in that was, the folks who did their jobs.
Absolutely.
Like they did what they were hired to do, what they swore an oath to do. And much respect to them, as someone who wore a uniform myself, not as law enforcement, but as a military service member, like I have total respect for those who did what they were hired to do, what they swore to do, For the folks who wear the uniform and decide to beat up other people in uniform, I got questions. Exactly. I got questions, but this saga continues, guys, and we'll continue talking about it as long as, as long as the headlines are there, because that's what Let's Clarify is all about. We break down and demystify the truth behind the headlines. All right. That is what we are here for. We're here to help y'all. We're here to break things down in a way that you can digest and not feel so overwhelmed, because with the amount of information the media provides, it can be overwhelming. It can be stressful. Like, you could be sitting on your couch with a blood vessel like right here about to pop. So we're here to help you. Exactly. We're here to help you. We're here to make sure you don't lose your mind. And hey, if you want to keep watching episodes of our show, we come on every Wednesday. So be sure to tune in. We're on Facebook and YouTube. So be sure to subscribe, share, like, all that fun stuff. You'll find us at Florida National News on Facebook. You'll find us on YouTube also at Florida National News. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon to make sure you catch all the episodes of this show, of our analysis, of our antics, and of course, of the clarifications. Angel, always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for all the truth that you bring, all the bombs and all of that. And ladies and gentlemen, as we always like to wrap up our show, be safe, be kind, please. Like, we are still in a pandemic. Like, pretty much a year later, we are still in, exactly, mask up. We are still in a pandemic. Continue to remain safe and careful, and continue to stay in touch with your loved ones, because you never know what could happen. Life is short. And as Angel likes to remind you guys every episode, Google is free, okay? Do your homework, do your research, make sure you remain an informed citizen, all right? Take care, and until next Wednesday, peace out.